Rodeos are illegal and must be banned, a new report today from the Animal Law Association says. The 92-page report, the first of its kind in New Zealand and released just an hour ago, calls on the government to act, saying the way animals are treated at rodeos goes against the Animal Welfare Act. So the sport cannot legally continue. Zach Fleming has more.
Rodeos are illegal and
lawyer and report author Katrina McLennan is unequivocal. Rodeos are illegal, so they need to stop. In law, there's the Animal Welfare Act and then supplementary to that, codes of welfare.
And what the rodeo code does is runs completely contrary to the Act, and it allows the use of electric prods and flank straps and spurs and ropes being thrown around young calves' necks and young calves being slammed onto the ground. And if you look at the main Act, it's quite clear that all of that is contrary to and banned by the main Act.
Essentially, the report says research shows animals are hurt in rodeos, and that goes against the Animal Welfare Act. So it doesn't matter what the Rodeo Code of Welfare says. Checkpoint first reported on this in March last year.
A senior animal welfare investigator at the Ministry for Primary Industries wrote in 2015 that if the Rodeo Code of Welfare didn't exist, rodeos would be problematic and prosecutable legally under the Animal Welfare Act.
Today's report cites overseas research as proof that rodeos are inherently cruel. It points to the sport being banned in parts of the US, Canada, Australia and Europe. Opposition from animal welfare groups, including the SPCA, as well as sponsors withdrawing, including Foodstuffs, LJ Hooker, Stuff, Meridian Energy, House of Travel, Baileys and Harcourts. The Rodeo Cowboys Association says animals enjoy participating in rodeos, and President Lyle Cox, who hadn't read the report when he agreed to be interviewed today, said he believes rodeos are not illegal and the report is a stunt.
We don't believe that's correct, and we rely on what the government has done to date, the actions of the National Animal Welfare Advisory Committee in 2014, had an independent parliamentary select committee inquiry in 2016, and we believe that there are no loopholes to address.
But today's report disputes whether that 2014 review was done properly, saying the research the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee, or NAWAC, uses to update codes is completely inadequate to form a scientific opinion.
Under Section 10, people have to take all reasonable steps to ensure the physical health and behavioural needs of animals are met in accordance with good practice and scientific knowledge.
The 2014 Rodeo Review is 11 pages long.
And it refers to 8 to 9 references. Now, I think anyone that's familiar with research will think that 9 references is really quite a small number. It just seems very flimsy to me. And, for example, one of those 9 references is a letter to the editor.
And only 3 of the 9 references were from this decade, the report says. NAWAC didn't respond to Checkpoint's request for comment. Associate Minister of Agriculture Meka Whaitiri, who earlier this month said she isn't looking at banning rodeos, said she's asked her officials to look over the report in detail, take on its recommendations
and seeing whether it obviously can enhance the directive I've given to officials specifically around rodeo practices, and so that's the level that we're wanting to make sure that the authors have been heard in terms of the concerns. And that we are actively taking on board some of the recommendations. But again, it needs to go through my officials.
Mr Cox says the Rodeo Cowboys Association will do whatever the government tells it to do. And he disputed opinion polls that found a majority of people are opposed to rodeos.
People responding to the opinion polls are swayed by incorrect information put out by the people running the polls.
So these are just people being misled?
Yeah, totally. There's a lot more people attending rodeos this year. We've had a very good season. We had a great national finals in Wanaka last weekend. National titles decided. No injured animals. Our ability to run good rodeos is right there, and we will continue to do so.
Ms McLennan won't be launching legal action of her own.
I really think it's up to the government and Parliament to make sure that laws are adhered to. I see them as being responsible for that.
Minister Whaitiri said she's already expecting a report on rodeo issues in May, and a response to today's report by the Animal Law Association could be included in that.
Whether it's before or approximately around May, we'll try and work that detail out, but rest assured there will be a full response from the government on it.
For Checkpoint, Zach Fleming.